And welcome back to 3.3 Podcast, where we're learning to do unit conversions or dimensional analysis or the factor label method or whatever anybody else wants to call it. We're trying to convert between one unit to the next. And so far we've shown you that you can use an equivalent statement to go back and forth between two units, but oftentimes these conversions take multiple steps. And example number 3 is a perfect example. The question says, how many yards do 65 inches span? Okay, so once again, you're going to write down whatever term or quantity you're starting with here. So we have 65 inches, and we're looking to go to yards. So I'm going to put yards way over here. I don't think we're going to need that much room. All right, and so you have to first get a conversion that's going to go between inches and yards. Well, to be honest, I don't have a conversion that goes between inches and yards right in front of me. And by the way, you will have every conversion that you need. These are not things that you need to memorize. You do need to know how to solve these problems, but you will not be expected to memorize all the conversions. In fact, in class, I'll show you where you can find a lot of these conversions, so you'll have them at your disposal. All right, so here are a couple conversions that I want to show you. You have 1 foot equals 12 inches, and you have 3 feet equal to 1 yard. All right, so what is the conversion that can get us out of inches? Well, we know that we can get inches into feet, and then feet can go into yards, so that should be the strategy that we're going to use. So we're going to multiply this by a conversion factor. Now, the key here, again, is looking at how do I get rid of inches. Well, if I have inches in the numerator here, remember this is over 1, if I have inches in the numerator, I need to get inches in the denominator to divide out. So I'm going to need to put my 12 inches on the bottom, which means my 1 foot will go up top. And now my inches divide out with inches. Now I'm left with feet, but I'm actually looking for yards. So I'm not ready to do the calculation yet. So I need to get feet into yards. Well, so I'm going to need to multiply this by another term. I have 3 feet in 1 yard, and I know I need to get rid of feet on top here, so I'm going to have feet in the bottom. So my 3 feet will go in the denominator, which means my 1 yard will have to go up top. So now my feet will divide out with feet, and I'm left with yards. I'm actually looking for yards, so now I'm ready to do the calculation, where I'll have 65 divided by 1 times 1 divided by 12 times 1 divided by 3. And that's actually how you do the math. So once again, you take 65 times 1, of course you don't need to multiply by the 1, but divided by 12, and then divided by 3. Now if you already know how to solve multiplying and dividing by fractions, use the method that your algebra teacher has taught you. Otherwise, this is a little shortcut method, multiplying numerators and dividing by denominators. And I'm going to be getting 1.8 yards. And I also rounded that to the proper number of significant figures. This number here has, the first term, 65, has 2 sig figs. Now, as it turns out, this second term and third term do not have a perfect number of sig figs or an unlimited number of sig figs, and here's why. Anytime you're dealing with significant figures, you're dealing with error. But these two conversions are perfect. There's exactly 12 inches in 1 foot, so there's no error in this term, and there's no error in that term, so you don't have to worry about sig figs. The only one that you have to worry about is this first term, because that is not a definition, that is a measured number. All right, measured numbers have sig figs, definitions do not. There's exactly 12 inches in 1 foot. There's exactly 3 feet in 1 yard. All right, and if you need more clarification with that, see me in class and we can tackle that as well. All right, scrolling down here. How many seconds have you been alive? Now that's an interesting question, because we all have a different age, and so I'm just going to use my age and we'll go on from there. All right, well, let's use one of your ages because even though everybody's slightly different, let's just say you're a person that has say you're 15 and a half years old. Now we have all different people in here. We have some sophomores, some juniors, some seniors, and we could have others as well. So we'll just pick an age, let's say 15 and a half years old. You've been alive for 15 and a half years. And we are asking for the number of seconds, and I'm just going to write S for seconds. Some people write SEC, but S is the official abbreviation. All right, so now, how do you convert between years and seconds? Well, I don't know how many seconds are in 1 year. You could probably look that conversion up, but it might not be at your disposal. So, most of us know that there's 365 days in a year, and in fact, there's 365.25 days in 1 year. And in fact, that is not exact. There's actually slightly less than that, but let's just go on that. What the deals with this 0.25 is we don't consider that 0.25 except for every 4 years. Every 4 years, they take those 0.25 days, add them up to one whole day, and then you stick it at the end of February, and you have your leap year. But technically, they're coming up a little short on that. It's not 0.25, it's 0.24 something something. And every now and then, scientists will tell the society, hey, we need to adjust the clocks by so many minutes or whatever, and they make that correction. All right, back to the task at hand here. You can impress your friends with that little bit of information. 1 year contains 365.25 days, so we're going to put the years on the bottom so that they divide out. And now you're into days. Now we need to change the days into, well, can we change it into seconds? Nah, I don't know how many seconds are in 1 day, but I do know that in 1 day that there are 24 hours. So the days divide out, top and bottom. Again, you know that where they need to go because they have to divide out top and bottom. And there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So hours divide out. And there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So the minutes divide out. And notice everything has divided out except for seconds. And so now you're ready to do the calculation, which would be 15.5 times 365.25 times 24 times 60 times 60, and everything in the denominator is 1, so you don't need to divide by those. And so when I perform that calculation, the number I'm getting is 489,142,800. So it looks like if you are 15 and a half, you are 489,142,800 seconds old. So you're approaching 500 million seconds. Now, are you exactly that many seconds? No, because time is going right as we speak. Every second, a second passes. Amazing, right? So, are you exactly that amount? No, but if you round to the proper number of sig figs, the first term here has 3 significant figures. This one has 5 significant figures, and the rest of them are perfect definitions, so we don't worry about sig figs. And so we're going to need to round this to 3 sig figs, which means we're going to take the 4, the 8, and the 9. The 1 keeps the 9 here the same. So when we round this to the proper number of sig figs, it's going to be 489 million seconds, nearly 500 million seconds, which means that's 500 million moments that you can make the right decision. 500 million moments where you can decide, hey, I'm going to do something with my life. 500 million seconds to do the right thing. That's my little plug for you for today. All right? So that's a little bit more complex conversion. In the next podcast, we're going to show you that there's actually different ways that you can do the same conversion and come up with the same answer. All right? So stay tuned. We'll be back with another podcast.